On nearly a daily basis, we get asked how we keep our aquariums in our shop so clean. So in today's video, we're going to give you 5 tips on how to keep your home aquarium clean. Hope you enjoy it. See you on the other side. Hi guys, Cam here from the Fish Room again. On this channel we're talking about aquariums and fish, aquatic plants and all that sort of good stuff when it comes to this aquatic hobby. We go through tips and tricks to make your life easier. We're running through my journey and the things that I'm doing in my fish room and things in the shop as well. So if that sounds a bit like you, please feel free to subscribe to us. If you like what we're doing in this video in particular, you've got any questions, feel free to comment below. We're also on Facebook. If you want to give us a look on there, it's the Fish Room NZ, and we're also on Instagram as well. So if you're using those platforms, feel free to check us out. Give us a like on that as well. Enough of all that official gaff. Time to get on with the video. So let's get into my first of 5 tips on how to keep your aquarium nice and clean. Catch you later, guys. Happy fish keeping. Right, so the first tip I've got for you guys to try and keep your aquarium nice and clean is have a good filter. Now you might think this is fairly obvious and fairly basic, but believe me, it's something that gets forgotten quite often. So there's multiple reasons that we want to have a really good filter within our aquarium. First one is we actually want it to pick up any of the debris that is settling. If things are settling and not getting into the filter, that gives more chance for algae to grow and things to look untidy and look really mucky and whatnot. The other reason is if your aquarium filter is actually moving through the water really well, then your plants should be moving as well, if you've got plants of course, and that should then in turn help keep some of the algae away as well. Now if you haven't had a good filter on your tank for a while and you put one on, you might see everything going everywhere and sand and substrate going bits and places and dust settling and all sorts of random stuff happening. Obviously there's no dust in the water, it's wet dust, but you know, so things going everywhere. That's quite normal. Give it a couple of days and that will make a massive difference and it'll begin to actually clear the water column, and that's the first step to trying to keep your aquarium water nice and clean and your aquarium itself nice and clean. Right, so another thing with your filter is you want to try and get about 10 times an hour turnover. Now 10 times an hour does sound like quite a lot, but for example if you've got a 200 litre aquarium and you've got a 2000 litre an hour filter, by the time you've got some media in your filter and your pipes get a little bit grimy and you've got bits and pieces inside the filter itself, that will actually slow down quite dramatically. So if you continue to get a nice high amount, as that slows down you might end up getting maybe 5 times an hour turnover. If you start with 5 times, you're getting up to 2 times an hour turnover. It's quite a significant difference. If you do have a filter on that's too big, and you find that it's actually blowing your fish too hard along, if you've got like a canister filter, you actually drill holes in the return pipe. So if you're drilling holes in the return pipe that goes into your aquarium, it actually slows down the flow coming through. So you're still going to be having the turnover going around from the filter to the aquarium, which you turn over, but you're going to slow down your flow from one end to the other, which can be quite helpful. Sometimes it's good to have high flow, sometimes it's good to have low flow, depending on the type of fish and plants that you're keeping. So when it comes to your filter, I always recommend trying to have a really good high turnover, because you can adjust your flow rates afterwards if you need it. And a good high turnover is a really good idea to have. So if you have a planted aquarium, you want a little bit of flow in your tank. So you want your plants just gently swaying in the flow. Most of them don't want to be belled over. There's the odd one that will handle it, but you just want a nice gentle flow, just sort of waving around. The reason you want this is it stops algae having the chance to actually settle on the plant. Things like Anubias can actually handle quite a bit of flow, which is awesome because it grows really slow, which means it can actually have the things like blackbeard algae growing up a lot easier. But if you've got a bit of flow, there's less chance of everything stopping on the plants and beginning to latch onto it and grow. So when we're talking about flow, particularly in a planted tank, nice amount of movement. Not too much, just nice and gentle. This also works for any other tank as well, just a bit of gentle flow, but you can just see it a lot easier because your plant's moving. Alright, so the next tip to help keep your aquarium clean is nutrient control. Things like phosphates and nitrates can get out of hand really quickly if you begin to feed too much. As they begin to rise, the chance of getting algae begins to rise, and then unsightly things in the aquarium starts happening from there. So most containers of food recommend what your fish can eat in a couple of minutes. That's pretty standard. Just abide by that. If you keep your food levels going down, then there's going to be less waste and it's going to help your aquarium get cleaner. Another good tip is actually buying really good quality aquarium food. They're not all made the same. Some are made with a lot more fillers than other ones. So have a good look at the back of your bottle, back of your containers, and get a much high quality product. The better the quality, generally the more you pay, but the less maintenance in the end you're going to have to do. Not saying you can get away with no maintenance, but you're going to be able to get less maintenance because there's less waste coming out of the fish, which means there's less waste going back into the water. So nutrient control is really important. Now things like plants are going to use the nutrients, they want some phosphates, they want some nitrates, but if you've got a 4-foot tank and you've only got a couple of stalks of plants, you're not going to need too much. But if you've got like a big 4-foot tank and you've got lots and lots of plants, they're going to need a lot more nutrients. So that's another thing to consider. Nutrient control with your plants because they will draw some out of the water. That being said, the best way to control your nutrients is not feed as much and do water changes, which is leading us on to the next one. Right, the next tip in keeping your aquarium clean is doing water changes. Yep, boring, mundane, but they have to be done. It's the same kind of principle with not overfeeding your fish. As your fish produce the waste, you've got to remove the waste somehow. By removing the waste, there's less nutrients, less chance of algae, less chance of bits and pieces hanging around your aquarium. And as you can see, we're getting this trend here. This is how we're beginning to keep our aquariums nice and clean. So, water changes. What do we do? In the shop, in our big tank here, we do 50% a week. We do that purely because we're dumping quite a lot of plant fertilizers into the tank, because it's well planted. But if we don't do a water change, the nutrient level rises, and then we get algae. So once a week we take half the water out, replace it with fresh water, and it keeps our nutrient level nice and balanced, which keeps the algae under control, keeps the water nice and clean and clear. It's that simple. In our shop tanks that we sell from, we do a water change 2 or 3 times a week. Not big quantities, 10 to 15%, but it's the same thing. We've got a lot of fish in there, so we're just trying to remove the waste from the water by putting in fresh water. And that is that simple to do a water change and keep your water clean, just by physically removing it and then putting fresh water back in. Obviously, if you're using a vacuum, you're going to be able to siphon some of the waste away at the same time, and that's again physically helping you do it. So if you've got a good filter going, it should be picking up most of the debris. If you're keeping your nutrient levels nice and low, that's not going to let the algae grow. And if you're physically removing any stuff your filter's not picking up and replacing it with fresh water with no phosphates and no nitrates, things are staying nice and low, things are staying nice and clean. Next tip to help you keep your aquarium clean is lighting. Again, sounds really, really simple, but too much light will give you too much algae. When you're actually setting up your aquarium, try and look at where your sun's coming in through your windows. If where you're putting it, you're going to get direct sunlight, you're going to be in trouble. Straight away, you're going to get yourself green algae and sometimes string algae, and clearly you don't want that. So when you're setting your aquarium up for the first time, just have a look around. See if you can see if there's light coming in, and if you can avoid putting it in that spot, avoid putting it in that spot. I also understand that different times of the year, the sun's in different positions, and so you're not always checking that. But for the best part, if you can avoid it for a lot of it, you'll be under control. So the first thing to look at when you're placing your aquarium is don't place it down around natural sunlight. Next thing to do when you're looking at your lights is changing your bulbs regularly. So up here, we've got a T5 unit. So most T5s and T8s recommend to change your bulbs every 12 months. Now if you watched our cyanobacteria video the other week, you'll see that my bulbs are quite old, and that was a contributor to us getting cyanobacteria. Other algae grows in exactly the same way. If the light spectrum is good for them, it will grow. But you can avoid that by changing your lights. Having good quality lights, growing your plants or displaying your fish is really going to help you keep the algae under control. It will help you avoid green water, green spot, and other pesky algae. The amount of light hours that you put into your aquarium is also really important, if not more important than the actual bulbs and everything else that go with it. The amount of people that come and say they've got their aquarium lights on from 6 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night and wonder why they're having algae issues is astronomical. Seriously, it's really easy. Get yourself a light timer from a hardware shop, chuck them on for 8 hours, and away you go. A little bit more complicated if you're growing plants, but you just sort of cater to the amount of plants you got. But if you just got sort of generic plants, or not too many, or no plants at all, 8 hours is a nice round number for your aquarium. Set it for the times that you also want to be looking at your tank as well. There's no point in having it on at 6 o'clock in the morning to midday if you're not actually home then. Set it to the times that you're home. So if you're giving it 8 hours, midday to 8 o'clock. If you go to bed at 10 o'clock, 2 in the afternoon until 10 o'clock at night. just so you can actually enjoy it. There's no point in having an aquarium with the lights are going off and you can't actually enjoy it. I guarantee you your plants and your fish won't mind if their lights go off at 10 o'clock at night each night. They'll be fine with it. I can guarantee you for one, the plants really like routine, just like a baby. If you have your lights going on then, and your lights coming off then, and you're doing the same thing every single day, that will really improve compared to flipping on and off whenever you feel like it. On now, off now, on now, off now. Nice and strong routine, and that will definitely help your plants grow, and it will also help keep your aquarium clean because you're not giving it excess light. And the last tip that I have to give you on how to keep your aquarium clean is this: chemical filtration. Not so much the carbon, or the carbon does work fairly well, but this stuff, Purigen by Seachem. It's the absolute duck's nuts, bee's knees, all mixed in together for some sort of weird, crazy witch magicry. Brilliant. So every time I'll put this in an aquarium, within basically 24 hours the water is absolutely sparkling and polished. It is fantastic. I know it's fairly expensive, but it really, really does do a fantastic job. It's rechargeable, which means after a while when the colour of the product changes, you can then recharge it again and it lasts forever. So unlike carbon, when after a month you got to get rid of it, this stuff lasts forever. So like I said, it costs a little bit more, but by the time you replace this over and over again, you might as well just buy a jar of the stuff and away you go. Generally speaking, I don't use carbon or other chemical filtration other than the Purigen in any of my aquariums, but in all my display aquariums, Purigen is 100% the way to go. Just so you all know, Purigen and Seachem or Perfect Supplies have not paid me to say anything like this. This is 100% just my own experience on this particular product. So there it is, some 5 tips on how to keep your aquarium nice and clean and tidy. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you see us next time. Catch you later. Have a good one. Bonus tip time. Don't forget to clean the inside and the outside of your glass on a regular basis. About a month ago we put a video up and a tip of how to clean your aquarium glass on the inside with Filtable. We'll put a little link to that up there. If you do it more regularly, when you actually then have to do it, it doesn't become such a hassle. If you're doing it every week, you've got a quick little spot clean and you're done. If you let it go for a month, then you've really got to put some elbow grease into it. That becomes a real pain in the butt. To clean the outside of your aquarium, we like to use methylated spirits on a rag. It works incredibly well to clean glass, but just be careful to stay away from your beads of silicone, because after a while it can actually deteriorate the silicone. If you give yourself a good little gap from it, you'll never notice that you've missed it and you'll be absolutely fine. See you guys, have a good one.